Hey everyone, we are here with our Let's Talk About series, and this is a first because I think we are actually a few minutes early, which never ever happens with this. It's usually so much trouble getting us actually directed to. So I'm so excited for today's session for Let's Talk About because we are talking to my friend Lindsay, but more than that, we are talking about self care, self empowerment, microblading, but also ways that we take care of making sure that we are whole, even at times that we don't feel whole. So, Lindsay, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys. Hi. My name's Lindsay. I am the owner and artist at Scrubbed Aesthetics. It is a microblading and permanent makeup studio located in Wexford, PA.
And so, how did you get into this whole microblading? Well, first of all, for people that may not know, let's tell them what microblading is.
So microblading is a form of permanent makeup. It is individual hair strokes that are drawn onto the brow using a blade. And some people call it semi-permanent. It does fade out over time, but it's basically a technique that's used to create brows that aren't there or add fullness to a brow or those sort of things.
So I don't have it done, which I'll be getting there soon. But my mom did it and she loved it. And my mom doesn't have brows, and she hasn't for a really long time. So it was a really big deal for her. She also doesn't like needles. So all that whole process was like a big push for her, but she loved the process. She loves that they've lasted. And so she has like thinner skin. So it was really hard. But she's loved everything about it. And so microblading now is kind of like a big trend, but like a lot of people are really into it. And why are they into it?
So for me personally, how I got into the industry was I'm a registered nurse by trade. Um, and I got my eyebrows microbladed. I was attracted to permanent makeup because like most of us, we're busy. We still want to have our faces done up, but we just don't have the time to do it. So I would go to work, especially now with wearing masks. The only part of the face that you do see is your eyes and your eyebrows. Yes. But the only makeup I would really wear to work was a little bit of mascara, and I'd always have my eyebrows done. So getting them microbladed just cut that time out completely. And I could just basically shower, throw my scrubs on, and go to work and not have to worry about it. So a lot of people have the misconception that microblading is for women that want to be extremely done up in a full face of makeup and that sort of thing, which it does service the brow services I offer. I can absolutely do like the on fleek brows, a powder brow that's, bold and all of that. But microblading is really natural hair strokes. And it's best for those that just want to have like a natural appearance. So that's kind of what led me to getting involved in the industry. It was after I had my eyebrows microbladed and I had a really good experience. I wanted to offer that service to other women as well.
Yeah, I love the look and I love the concept of like ready go makeup. So like I'm usually a lips girl, and COVID has like stunted the amount of lipstick that you wear. I still wear it under a mask because you never know when you have to pop it off. But
Mhm.
brows, lips, and like eyeliner for me are my go-tos. And so I don't do a lot of like the face, I don't do the contouring, I don't do foundation and powder and concealer. I don't do all of that,
Mhm.
mainly because I don't really know how, but I also don't like the feeling of that cakiness. So I love the concept of permanent makeup, of the fact of like it's just done and you can go. It's just so much easier. And it's actually, if you think about it, pretty sustainable. You're not going through the plastic cosmetics. Most cosmetics, unless you're buying really good makeup or you've done your research, does animal testing, has byproducts, has toxins. I try to buy natural lipstick, and I really have liked that I've gotten into that I'm knowing what is going on to my face. But sometimes it's just not possible for everything that you have. So I guess when you get microbladed, you're not using as much consumer plastic because you're not using some of those everyday eyeliners, brows, brow powder, the foundation, etc.
Yes, and you brought up a good point, the cruelty free. So all the products, all the ink products that I used are certified cruelty free as well. So we definitely stand by that at Scrubbed Aesthetics. We don't use any type of inks or any products that are tested on animals. All of my ink is vegan as well. So that's really nice for those that are super passionate about that. And I just think, being, the world we live in and just being mindful of how we can kind of reduce our stamp is important, so we take that seriously at Scrubbed Aesthetics as well. And you also made a good point as far as, I just lost what I was going to say.
Well, about the consumer, like the plastic waste. I
Yes.
mean, and also like, you like a color on one palette and you like another color in another palette, and then you have all this other makeup stuff. And so like I use NYX brow powder just to like shade in a little bit because I like a little bit of definition. I have naturally big brows anyways. But my packaging is very small. But my friends who are makeup artists, I see them and their like bag is huge because there's just so many products that they have to have for so many consumers. So besides the microblading, what other permanent makeup does Scrub Aesthetics offer?
So all the brow services, there are different types of brow permanent makeup that you can receive. There is microblading, which is the individual strokes that are hand drawn on with the blade. There's a combination brow, which is actually microblading plus shading. And what that mimics is the natural hair strokes. It's just a very natural, everyday look. When you have the combination brow and you add a little bit of the shading, it gives you that background color, adds a little bit more density. So that's good for individuals that want the stroked appearance, but want to look like they have a little bit of powdered makeup on without actually having to put the powdered makeup on. That service is also better for more mature skin or more oily skin, where microblading is pretty specific to the types of skin that it works and heals best on. The other brow service is a powder brow, which is a machine shading of the brow, and it doesn't have any strokes. And that is a service that any individual, regardless of, youthful to mature skin or dry to oily skin, can have. And that is good for those that have hair and don't have hair. So like your mother, she had thinner skin, she had sparse hair. That was the best service for
Mhm.
her skin type. Even those that have a ton of hair but still want that shading in the background, looks like a little bit of makeup application. It looks beautiful. It also heals out a lot more naturally than microblading does. And it's very popular on the West Coast, where on the East Coast is just starting to gain some traction, what an ombre powder brow is, where microblading is a lot more recognized. So
Mhm.
there are those 3 different brow services. I also offer eyeliner, lip blush, non-laser tattoo removal, which is a saline machine technique that pulls the ink out of your skin, as opposed to a laser that just breaks it down and it's up to your immune system to remove it. So it kind of pulls the ink out instead of dispersing it through your body. It's also a lot less invasive on facial makeup, facial permanent makeup. I'm also very excited, and this is new tonight, so you guys are the first people to hear about this. I haven't even said anything about it on my site, but I do have 2 colleagues of mine. They're both physician's assistants, and they're going to be coming in once a month, and we're going to be throwing Botox and filler parties. So I'm super excited to bring the injectables in. My background as a nurse, I am currently in grad school to become a nurse practitioner. So my goal is, when I do graduate, is to implement those services into my studio at that point, but now we can just do it a lot sooner. So I'm super excited about that as well.
So, 2 things. First of all, the lip blushing. Tell me all about that. Does that remove me having to wear lipstick every day?
Yes and no. So back in permanent makeups like heyday, you would see, and you still see, some of these little old ladies walking around with the lip liner, and it's very harsh. A couple reasons for that. They went to a tattoo studio to get that done. It's with the harsh carbon-based ink, where permanent makeup has evolved so significantly over the last decade that the ink itself is a lot softer on our bodies. It's not that harsh tattoo ink, although it is tattoo ink, if that makes sense. So what lip tinting or lip blush, the purpose of that is is to really just give you like a gloss. Like if you would put a little bit of gloss on your lips just to tint them slightly, that would give you that appearance. So if you like a really bold look, you probably would still apply lipstick. But if you're looking for just a slight tint, lip tint is 100% the way to go. It's also really good. A lot of women with color have hyperpigmentation within their lips, and you can actually do color correction to pull those purples, whites, or different hues out of their lips and give them a full solid color. So it's actually almost like a camouflage or a paramedical way of fixing that issue. And then others, as we age, we lose the pigmentation within our lips. So it's just replacing that tint. So it's good for mature clients as well.
I love that. And so let's talk about the Botox and the fillers. So I know some people have like really negative concepts of the Botox and the fillers. I think Kylie Jenner's lips are great now, so good for her. I look at them and I love lipstick, so I see her apply it. I'm like, oh, there's so much this. I've seen them go wrong, so I understand. But there's multiple benefits of Botox. So as a migraine sufferer, like one of the things that my doctor has talked to me in the past is about potentially using Botox to combat the migraines. And I know a lot of our senoritas, we've had quite a many posts about migraines, and some who've just never been able to kick it. Doesn't matter, removing food from their diet, water, caffeine, nitrates, aromatherapy, medicine, it doesn't matter. They've just never been able to kick it. What would be the benefit of getting Botox, not just for like wrinkles, but also the medical side for the headaches?
So I don't know like a whole lot about the migraine implementation of Botox, but I do know that it is a service used to treat migraines. It is definitely something that I can hook you up with the providers that will be offering that service. You can fill out your consent forms and have that discussion with a professional that can answer those questions better. But it's definitely a viable treatment option that kind of removes, in Western medicine, they just want to treat a symptom with a pill. So this is just a different alternative way to treat something like a migraine that doesn't involve you taking a pill every day. And basically what Botox is it's only a toxin that is injected into a muscle to paralyze that muscle. It's not systemic, so it doesn't float throughout your body and cause issues throughout your body. It's very localized within that muscle that they have relaxed. So it's really not detrimental to your health or any other, aspect of yourself.
Yeah, the botulism is what is that comes in and it kind of paralyzes it. And they found that
Mhm.
injections like here and here at the back, and then kind of like right here, have helped people who have significant migraines. And if you're a migraine sufferer like me, I mean, I've had them to the point where I've been hospitalized. They thought I've had stroke. So
Yeah.
you can have something that's like, the lights and the aura, or, falling asleep, or you can have the ones that are just like absolutely almost make you catatonic. So I've looked into it. If they ever progressed to the point where medicine wasn't working or I was having them regularly, I've done some of the research, and it seems like there's been some really positive medical studies and research from it.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about fillers. So you can get lip fillers, but where else can you get fillers, and what's the advantage of them?
So Botox is, again, relaxing the muscle, where fillers is adding to something, if you want to think of it that way. So a lot of individuals, lips is a big service that people get fillers to build lip structure. If you have, like, a lot of people have like a thinner upper lip, you could get fillers in the upper lip to plump that up. People have also done a lot of things with like cheek structures, jaw lines, chin enhancements, non-invasive nose jobs. Instead of getting a rhinoplasty, they're actually just adding some filler to smooth out somebody who has a pronounced bump there. So there's other things that are like really deep, like smile lines and things like that. Smokers lines around individuals' mouths can be filled in with fillers as well. So fillers, there's a lot of different things you can do with fillers. It's really amazing, but the benefits and just the restructuring is pretty much endless depending on what your needs are.
I apologize for the dark. My son turned the light out, and I know if I turn it back on, he's going to turn it back off. So I apologize. When you have a toddler, even a teen, they mess with you just because they can. And so that's what he's doing. I love the idea of all of that. And so as I progress in age, like, skincare is really important to me. So especially during COVID, have done more research on making sure that I'm using the right face products. Like just got into I'm going to say it wrong, hyaluronic acid.
Mm-hmm.
I think that always feels like a mumble in my mouth, but I have like a beauty oil that I use that I saw tremendous results from. And so I think like part of self-care is understanding the maintenance of your skin. So
Mhm.
that's whether it's with permanent makeup or what you put on it or how you maintain your face. I think it's really important. I didn't have anyone like really teach me that. And so
Mhm.
it's something that I'm learning on my own. And there's so much misinformation out there. And there's so much like if you don't know if your skin's dry or oily or if it's this or this, you don't always use the right product.
Mhm.
So we talked a little bit about the microblading. We talked about the Botox and the fillers. How would someone get in contact with you to get some of these services?
So all of my booking is self-scheduling, which is really nice because you can go on to my service link, pick the date and time that works best for you. All the services are listed there with descriptions. And then I have an immense amount of information about frequently asked questions. Are you a candidate? What's the best service for you? It's an abundance of information that is right there for you just to read through. So if you want to book, you can go through my website, which is scrubbedesthetics.com, or my book now button, which is on my Instagram and Facebook page, that will take you directly to my booking service to schedule that way. And of course, if anybody has any questions about what service is best for them, they can directly reach out to me by just sending me an instant message.
Awesome. And where are you located in the, because you're in the Pittsburgh area. So where are you located?
Yes, so I'm in Pittsburgh, PA, which it's Wexford, PA, which is the Wexford Flats. A lot of people are familiar with Sensi's Pizza. It's a pretty popular restaurant out in Wexford Flats, and I'm directly across the street. So it's
They have
from
amazing
downtown.
pizza, actually.
Huh?
They have amazing pizza,
Yeah,
actually.
their pizza is really good. So come get your brows done and then go get a slice.
Well, I love that. So one of the things I want to talk about real quickly, and this is a little bit of a divergent of the microblading, but one of the reasons why you got into self-care is because you didn't always practice good self-care. And so you have this really powerful story. And if you want to share it, you're more than welcome to. But we connected through a girls group, and then I ended up hosting a vision party. And you're like, well, I want to come by. And I'm like, all right, perfect stranger, like come to my house, do the vision board with me. And we actually had a great time. There were about 5 or 6 of us who, I mean, I knew everybody, but people who didn't know each other. We did our vision board. None of us had pandemic or the world going to shit for 2020.
No.
So that was all something new. But it was really great spending that time with you. But even seeing you like setting your goals and writing your goals, you're a mom, you're a single mom, you're in school, you're working full time, you're a nurse, so you've been essential through all of COVID. Besides you doing, and you have this like completely side life business. I'm not even going to call it a side hustle because it's not a hustle, it's a true business. So what are you doing for yourself that is self-care?
So, with all of the things that you just listed, is legit my life. And self care has been like the last thing on the list of all the things you named. Being a single mother, putting myself through college after I had my daughter, and then building my education from that point on, working multiple jobs, working in a hospital, doing shift work, all of those things was a complete burnout. And self care in general was not even on the radar. So what happened was I got burnout. I mean, really quickly and really severely, where my health was impacted. I had asthma exacerbations. My hair was falling out. I had weight gain. I mean, I just was a complete mess. So one of the major key aspects to just being able to own my own business was being able to center that business around a schedule that fit me better, gave me more ability to be present for my family, to not miss any of my daughter's, sporting events and all of those things as well, to get myself on a schedule where I can go to the gym consistently, eat a better diet, just all of those things that I know are important for me to feel better about myself. And I'll be 100% like, you step out of one aspect of your life and put yourself in another to give yourself that ability. And then I don't know if you're like me, I feel like you probably are. You take on all those things and want to do all those things. And again, that self-care gets pushed aside. So it's like, it's always a growing part of what I'm trying to, center in my life. And I have to revisit that. And, so it's a work in progress always, but just being able to have control of my life, I think was the number one thing. Running a business, I certainly work an insane amount of hours and I'm always kind of on the job, but I get to decide what that looks like. I get to decide when I unplug. I get to decide when I start and when I stop. And, navigating through that has also been a growing process, but it's still mine to decide. So that's been a very helpful.
I agree. I've never worked more than I am now. Your business never sleeps, your mind never stops. You're always thinking, how do I grow? How do I make this experience better?
Mm-hmm,
We just launched our self-care boxes that launched like 2 weeks ago, and in a week we
mm-hmm.
sold out, which was fantastic.
Amazing.
So, buying more supplies to meet the demand, and even understanding what that means, and promoting and marketing. And, I still do marketing for clients. So making sure that, I have time for the clients, and then time for me, and then time for Braxton. And so
Yeah.
today was a great example. We did trunk or treat. He went as a little baby shark. But I moved everything up for my day, so I'd be able to pick him up a little early so we could go and do that. And I'm fortunate that I can do that. I know a lot of parents can't. So I know that those special moments that I have with him are so special, because all my past jobs, it was always rushing to get to daycare in time to pick him up, let
Yeah.
alone getting there early. Unheard of, absolutely unheard of.
Yep.
And so it is a lot of hard work. There's a lot of late nights, there's a lot of tears, there's a lot of self-doubt and worry, and a lot of introspection, probably second guessing and third guessing every decision you make. But when a decision you've made works, and it's fruitful, and it's proof that you're kind of on the right track, man, is that an intoxicating feeling.
Mm-hmm. And I think, if you've gone through something really hard, which most of us have a story that we've faced some adversity, when you overcome that, and then you're placed in this life that we live today, and we're given the set of problems we have, I always try to switch my perspective back to like these set of problems. I'm grateful to be this busy in my business and to be able to do the things that I'm doing. Cause there was a point in time where I yearned just to be free, from those things. So it's just switching your perspective and practicing gratitude, right? Like, just doing, like, I don't know if you guys are Rachel Hollis fans, or if you've heard of her. She's in the personal development world, and a friend of mine is just 100% a fan. And she does like a 90 days. So instead of starting your goals for January 1st, you start them 90 days beforehand. And it's just about, hydrating, eating healthy, moving your body, meditating, like whatever aspects of that, practicing gratitude and writing down 5 things I'm grateful for, instead of saying, oh, I have to do this, this, and that today. I get to do this, this, and that, because there was a time where this was not afforded to me, so it's keeping that center has been something that has definitely helped me wrap my head around this new life.
Yeah, I'm a huge Rachel Hollis fan. I wouldn't say I'm like a super fan. I've read her stuff. I think she's
Yeah.
great. I actually did a treat for myself today. So we were at Target after trunk or treat, and I bought a self-care book. It's in my library queue for such a long time. I love reading, but I never spend money on the books anymore, because I'm like, oh, that's money that can go to this, this, or this. And so it's a book that I've been wanting to read. And I was like, no, don't spend the money. Just be patient and wait for it to come up in the library. And it's just not. And so Target was doing a sale. And so it was buy 2, get 1 free books. And so okay, I'll fix it. 1 second. I bought 1 for me and then 2 for him. Okay, can you say please wait?
Please wait.
So we're gonna walk so we can fix PJ Masks. But that was something small that I did for myself, and it seems like it's doesn't matter, or it's not a big deal, like, oh, she bought a book. But the book is research, and it's about self-care, and even me, who's telling people about self-care, still trying to figure out my own schedule of self-care. And so, like, I love fall, so pumpkin patches have been like my favorite thing to do. But going to a pumpkin patch for the day is fun, but then you come home and you're like, laundry needs done, and dishes need done, and food needs prepped, and this needs done, and you're just frustrated because you're like, is it nap time? Like, I need you to go to sleep so I can get stuff done during nap time. And on Sunday, I napped when he napped, which I haven't done in I don't even know how long, and had a complete jammy day, didn't leave the house, didn't open the door, watched movies, sat, ate, relaxed, and was in bed by like, I don't know, like 9:30, which is also unheard
Perfect.
of. And the whole day, all I could think of is like, I have so much to do, but this feels absolutely right. And so
Yes.
I think even just giving yourself grace of like, you know what, it's okay if there's toys all over my floor, because whether I clean them up right now, in another half an hour, there's going to be more toys. And in 30 years, I'm going to wish there was toys on my floor.
Exactly. Yep. That's 100% correct. I agree 100%. I think, a couple things that reminded me of is unplugging, is super vital, especially when you have, like all of my business in marketing and talking to people is social media based. And, especially right now, it's really easy to get in that negative cycle of like all this crazy stuff that's going on in the world. And it's all front and center. It's like one swipe away. So it's like just being mindful of a couple things, like trying to focus my business and respond to messages at a certain time, not always be on. And then to stay away from the negativity, because you can just get so self-consumed into it, and just unplug. Like my Sundays are the days where I try to, and again, I say try to because I end up doing homework in the evenings or something, and my boyfriend is super busy too. He has a business, so we're all over the place. But like Sunday, like family day, like we are making a point to try to do like a family dinner, church, whatever it is, like just that one day where it has nothing to do with the crazy world, and we start back up at it again on Monday. So I
Yep.
definitely
Sundays
understand.
are adventure days, and those are the days that we get in the car and we just kind of go somewhere.
That's
So we
awesome.
pack up the car, we get snacks, and sometimes it's just a drive, sometimes it's to an animal park. This Sunday we're doing Boo at the zoo, and so we get to go trick or treat with the animals, and I'm super excited for that. And then next weekend, one of my good friends is coming in, and then the weekend after is Halloween and his birthday party. So I love October and I love November because it's filled with
Hmm.
so much love and fun. But
Hmm.
come like mid-November, I'm just exhausted because I've been programmed nonstop. But to your point, running my own business and working with my clients, like I've set boundaries. Like I don't answer emails after a certain time unless it
Yep.
is really an emergency, which really, like if you do your work well, you shouldn't have an emergency.
Yeah.
If you plan, if you manage your time, if you manage your clients, then you don't have something that pops up at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning that is a rut row. Um, but also, like one client I had to work a Saturday for, and the next day I took off just for me and Braxton. Like that was this
Hmm.
past Sunday. It was just us. This upcoming Wednesday, I only have like one appointment on my calendar. So I'll do work from home and I'll do it outside or I'll do it from my bed. Like I'll be unconventional because usually I'm at my desk, sitting up, dressed, ready to go, and like I'm at the office because it helps me be productive. But I'm finding my own grace in allowing myself to
Hmm.
bend the rules, still, even in my own home, of what I should do. And so I think that's the biggest message that we can give to other people is being an entrepreneur or a solopreneur is not easy.
No.
And you have to manage a lot of other things, but you also get to make time for the things that you want. So someone was like, oh, you it must be nice to take off in the middle of the day. And they have like no concept that like I was up answering emails at 6 a.m. and
Yep.
my ass straight for 5 hours to get off, to get my kid to do something and like work as a parent, right? Until he goes to bedtime and then do another few hours of work. So
Yeah.
like my happy ass didn't take the afternoon off. I rearranged my schedule to make time for what I needed to do. And I'm grateful because my mother was a nurse. And so she didn't have that capability to say, well, my kid has dance class, like I have to drop her off and I'll be back. Like she was a 12-hour shift worker. And so
Yep.
she didn't have that capability. And so I know the absolute advantage I have of being able to have that.
And whether you work in an industry like as a nurse, or you own a business and it's your responsibility to care for others, what I find as myself is just my default is to give to everybody else and to forget to save like something for myself. So just to find that little bit of peace is just the recharge that you need. So it's super important.
Absolutely. So I'm going to be mindful of our time so we can enjoy our glasses of wine and our snacks before we need to go to bed. And I'm sure there's emails that you have to do, but thank you, Lindsay, so much. And so we have Lindsay Koenig with Scrubbed Aesthetics. You could follow us. I'm going to drop the link in the video to her business and to her Facebook page and to her social. Anything you want to say before we go?
Yes. So thank you very much for having me. And I would also like to offer anybody who is watching this or sees my business page through your page, a 10% discount on any service at Scrubbed Aesthetics when you use the promo code Self-Care Senorita. Botox and fillers are also launching. So I'll be having all that information. Like, I'll be doing a whole story on it tomorrow. And then there'll be an abundance of information on how to get hooked up with those services if you're interested as well. But that is a $50 off Botox fillers for the month of November.
That is fantastic. Thank you. So hopefully we'll get a bunch of our senoritas. I know that I need to make my appointment because I was supposed to come in for services like January and I couldn't make it because Braxton was sick. And then you were completely booked for like 3 months, which was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what? COVID happened. And so services at all. So I'm long overdue to come in. And so I'll be making my appointment to see you and to check out the studio, which is absolutely gorgeous. But we're at a toddler's limit as well. So thank you so much for your time. And can you say bye, Braxton?
Bye.
Say bye, everyone. Thank you, Lindsay, again.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.